Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and I've got somewhat of a treat. Um, this day, literally 1 year ago, was the anniversary of my first video on YouTube, and I'd like to say that I've come a little ways as far as deck building, and I want a chance to redeem my first profile. So I would love to be able to redo the Appliancer deck profile for you guys now. And then you guys can decide. You guys can actually go back, you can watch the original profile, and you guys can let me know whether or not you think that we've actually stepped it up here at this channel. And hopefully this actually amuses. So it's a really cool budget build that's not really all that budget because I don't use budget cards. I play with what I have. But for the most part, you can pick up the core of this deck very easily still. So let's just get into giving you guys a deck list already. And then you guys can tell me how I did afterward, all right? All right, so starting at the 40-card main deck, we're going to be running 3 copies of Breaker Bunkle again. Pretty standard. 3 copies of Copy Bockle. Again, we need to play them. And 3 copies of Socket Roll. Again, these are the 3 main characters of the deck as far as the main deck is concerned. And again, until they release more cards for the main deck, we're stuck with these 9, all right? Real quick, we got some tech stuff. And again, you guys could switch this out. Something that goes very easy in the place of Ash Blossom would actually be Effect Veilers if you're looking to budget this one down. But I'm going to use the Ash Blossoms because that's what I have. Then we're going to use a single copy of Codebreaker 0 Day because we're going to be using the Codebreaker engine a little bit to get off some additional plays. We're also going to be using 3 copies for Mud Skipper because this is just going to be absolutely amazing for us. And we're going to tack in 2 copies Parallel Exceed. Not 3, just the 2. I think that's the best, honestly, the way that the effect was written. And so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to move over to our spell cards real quick. We're going to maximize out on 3 copies of Appliancer Electric Lyrical World. Maximize out the field spell, my friends. We are going to have 3 copies Appliancer Reuse. This is actually very good, and we'll get to that during the explanations portion. And I cut it down to a single copy of Test for this version. Again, these are all the Appliancer spells, so we're going to run all of them. And again, this is going to help give us more opportunities once we start playing in. We're going to be using 3 copies Machine Dupe because, again, a lot of machine because they're all 1-star machines, and this is going to let us link climb very quickly. Single copy Monster Reborn because good extender is always good. 1 for 1 because you need to start somewhere sometime. Terraforming, it's going to be like having a 4th copy of your field spell for you. And we're going to round it out with 3 copies of Where Art Thou, because, again, sometimes you just need a good card to get cards. I'm going to be running 6 traps in this deck. You guys might, again, budget out the Infinite Impermanence with something else. I'm personally going to run all 3 of my copies. Things that you could do here, I guess, I don't know, anything that negates effects. So if you wanted to, you guys could use things like Breakthrough Skill. I think Forbidden Chalice will do about the same thing. But if you have the imperms, definitely run the imperms. And then 3 strikes. And again, strikes were released as a common too. These are the Dual Devastators, which is how I got my set. But again, if you guys bought the Machina decks, Machina decks, you guys probably have a playset of common laying around to help tear down those prices for you. So let's get you guys the 15-card extra deck. It's all links the way I built it today, but due to the effects of the Parallel Exceed, you guys could tack in 1 or 2 rank 4 plays. The best ones would probably be Abyss Dweller. I'd probably stick away from anything like Dagaris or Baguska here. I probably wouldn't have you run a Utopia engine in this, although you could. And Exiton Knight, I think, is the other one I'm always using. But today I went straight links. So again, we're just going to have the single copy Apollosa Bow of the Goddess. We're going to run 2 copies of Appliancer Celtipus, just because it's actually great. 3 copies Laundry Dragon, because again, these two are my main go-tos when it comes to the Appliancer portion. I did tech in a single Vacuolifant, and you guys will see why later. I'm using Boral Sword Dragon. Thank you again, Mr. Drumsticks. It's always going to show up in the video. Promise. Then we're going to have the 2 Codebreaker cards, 1 copy each, the Swordsman and Berserker. And this is actually going to help us not only build, but also maintain advantage the whole way up. We are going to use a single copy of IP Masquerena. And I changed up the Nightmare engine just a little bit. I got a single Griffin, single Phoenix, and single Unicorn this time. Again, maybe if you guys wanted to use Cerberus, go for it. Obviously, my decks are just supposed to be guidelines for you guys. So you guys play with whatever you guys feel is best. Coming in last but not least is going to be my copy of Link Kuriboh. Again, there are so many level 1s in this deck that it would be an absolute shame and a crime against Yu-Gi-Oh! If I didn't add this guy in here. And that's gonna be the whole deck. So if this is what you guys came for today, I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. Obviously. If you're not already subscribed and you enjoyed this video, do give it a consideration. It helps the channel grow and honestly makes me smile literally every day. But if you guys don't want to hear the explanations of the cards, you guys are free to go. I'll see you guys on the next video, and maybe go check out the original Appliancer and actually see just how far I've come with this deck. So I'll see you guys later, and everybody else, let's go over the deck. Let's start in the main. Let's refresh your memories on what these guys do. So first up is our Breaker Bunkle. During a damage calculation, if an Appliancer monster you control battles an opponent's monster, as a quick effect, you can discard this card. For that battle, the monster that you control cannot be destroyed, and also you will take 0 battle damage from that. If an Appliancer monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can also banish this from the field or the graveyard instead. So what we're really saying is this cute little mouse here is not only going to be a battle trap from the hand and actually just ensure that your monster survives, but additionally, we're going to get a second protection out of this guy once he's in the discard pile. Again, I've never really used his a secondary effect from field. It's always resolved from graveyard, so I tend to get both uses out of him. And again, we gotta just maximize the Appliancers right now. Again, we've only got 3 main deck characters, so we gotta have that for our 9 slots. So that's him. Copybockle is amazing once we go over socket roll, but let's go over him first since he's here. You can target 1 Appliancer monster you control, special summon this from the hand, and if you do, this card's name becomes that monster's name until the end phase. During the main phase, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target 1 Appliancer monster you control, special summon 1 monster with the same name from your hand or your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. It is in quotes, that is a hard once per turn. But it is a free special summon, and once we get to Socket Roll's effect, you will understand just why this kicks that off. Additionally, it can banish itself and still propagate more characters to your side of the field. So, good card, great card. That brings us to Socket Roll, and I can't help but think, every time I look at this guy, I can't help but think about Hudson, or whatever the video game company was, and their character Bomberman. But if you control an Appliancer monster, you can special summon this from your hand. So again, this is another one of those free summon to the fields if we have one. If another Appliancer Socket Roll is special summoned to the field while you control this monster, or Copybockle, changing his name to Socket Roll, then you can special summon 1 Appliancer Socket Roll from the deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So again, you can normal summon 1, you can special summon a second one or a copy. And that will allow the first one to generate either a second or a third, allowing us to perform our Link climbs very rapidly to set up Celtipus and our Laundry Dragon. So, very good. Again, I'm using Ash Blossom here, sort of as my stun hand trap. Again, if this is a little out of your price range, feel free to throw Effect Veilers in there. This is going to stop card movement from deck to either adding to hand or summoning from deck or sending from deck to discard. Very strong effects in all versions, all metas, and all portions of a season. So, again, Ash Blossom if you got it, Effect Veilers if you don't. let's talk about Codebreaker 0 Day real quick. Now, this is one of those reasons why I said you guys could tech in a couple of rank 4 Xyz or just like one rank 4 Xyz. And again, I like Abyss Dweller, a Baguska, Exiton Knight. Generally, everybody has the Abyss Dweller, though, and that would be the premium play. We're going to use him for his own engine. When this card is on the field, all link monsters pointing to it lose 1,000 attack. So again, if we can board this across from our opponent's link on the field, we could actually decrease their power and go for a sick little play that way. And this does not count Codebreaker links. If a Codebreaker link monster or monsters on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, while this card is on the field, we can destroy this card. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one Codebreaker 0 Day from your deck to the hand. Now, that's not going to happen because we're only running the singles. So take it with a grain of salt. It's here to get us into some cool link plays. Another great card, another great tech card. And I love the fact that they went ahead and Legends of Armageddon gave this to us in an ultra rare, because I was getting really, really sad that it was such a good card and it only had common at first. During the main phase, you can reveal one link monster in your extra deck, and if you do, when you link summon this turn, you can treat this card as a link material with the same name, type, and attribute as the revealed monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can add a level 5 or higher Cybers from deck to your hand. Each effect hard once per turn. Let's talk the second effect real quick. That's going to be your Parallel Exceed. Let's talk the first effect real quick. It says it changes its name, my friends. That means it will be an Appliancer and therefore count as being a single card into one of the Appliancer cards that you need, allowing you to build and generate that type of advantage. So, good card is great card. The Parallel Exceed. Now, this guy's a little crazy. We're never going to use him as a level 7. Instead, we're interested in his effects once we've got him to the hand. If this is special summoned by the effect of a Parallel Exceed, its level becomes 4 and its original attack is half. So is the defense. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. So if we link summon, we can special summon this card from the hand to a zone a link monster points to. That's what we're going to do first. Then if this is normal or if this is normal or special summoned, we can then play an additional copy from our deck. So again, we're going to use the 4-Mud Skipper, change its name, potentially, go into an Appliancer. Since we linked, we'll be able to go ahead and get this. Then we could generate another link if we need to, and do what we need to do from there, and then get into our Exceeds, and then link build from there. So it's very intuitive. Not much to show as far as combos, so I won't be doing a combos video this week for this. Let's get into the spells now. So Electro Lyrical World, and again, that's a mouthful. Say that one 5 times fast. I stutter trying to say it once slow. When this card is activated, you can add one Appliancer card, and again, card means spell, trap, or monster, from the deck to your hand except a field spell. So maybe that is, again, potential news. Maybe we'll get another field spell sometime in the future when we get to expand this. I do believe at the moment there is an extra link running around in the OCG, but don't quote me because I'm not terribly certain. Once per turn, if you link summon an Appliancer link monster or monsters, you can add one Appliancer monster from the graveyard to your hand, and this will be a great way to either get our Copy Bockle or to get another Socket rollback. Or again, you could also use the Breaker Bunkle, and if you did do that, then this would be a good way to get that back into your hand to use it for its hand trap effect as well. Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can move an Appliancer monster you control to another of your main monster zones. You may activate each effect of Electro Lyrical World once per turn. So again, very cool card. It's got a bunch of different applications. I don't think we're going to be messing around too much with our board positions, but again, this can help us correct where our links are going, especially when we get into Codebreaker 0 Day. We could try to force co-links this way a little more fluidly. So there is that. 3 copies of Reuse. This is great. Target an Appliancer in the graveyard, special summon it to the field, place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. It does not make a distinction between whether it is a link or not. And I'm, again, still loving the fact that this does not banish the card, instead throws it back into the deck. So I feel like the art shows you, I feel like Socket Roll is just going to be the optimal choice at all times, just so that we can reload it and then get it back out of the deck when we need to link build some more. I am running a single copy of Test. I think I was running this at 2 or 3 the first time round. This allows you to target one Appliancer link monster you control, special summon as many link 1 Appliancers from the graveyard as possible, 2 zones that points to, banishing them during the end phase, activating only 1 of these per turn. And again, Celtipus is the highest, so we will be able to get back to 2, and that'll be our Vacuolifant and our Laundry Dragon. Again, since it is banishing, I did want to limit it down a little bit more this time, so I'm only going to run the single copy. The machine dupe, again, all of our 9 boys that are Appliancers are all machines. This is going to help. They're all zeros. Select a machine monster on the field with 500 or less attack when you activate this. Special summon up to 2 more from the deck with the same name. Fantastic, and it's going to help you get into, again, sometimes you have to force the hand because it just doesn't draw right, and these are ways of auto-correcting yourself. These did get a pretty cool rare printing, ultra rare-ish, like no foil background with the maximum gold, so they are a little more available these days. Monster Reborn, very cut and dry, very simple. Target a monster in either graveyard, special summon it. So again, we can either go back to building our own board, we can also pick a monster that our opponent had, and maybe choose to play something a little disruptive. So, good card, great card. We got the 1-for-1, send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon a level 1 from your hand or deck. Again, this can help us start off some plays, and again, this will allow us to get 4 Mud Skipper. Don't forget that that's a level 1 as well. And since this isn't talking whether it's Cyberse or whether it's Machine, generically good for both sides. Terraforming, again, just add your field spell to your hand from the deck. Very simple. It's just like having a 4th copy of the field spell, and it helps with a little bit of thinning. 3 copies Where Art Thou, because this is actually pretty good. If you control a face-up level 1 monster, add a level 1 from your deck to the hand. During the end phase of this turn, take 2k if you did not normal summon that added monster or a card with the same name after you activated this card's effect. Again, I end up taking that damage sometimes, more often than not. But again, this allows us to tutor and tutor well. The only drawback is it's not a starter spell. You already have to have a character in play. And again, if you did 1-for-1, I think that'll put you in a good shape to where you won't actually end up having to take that damage. So think that one over. It's actually pretty cool. We do have the Infinite Impermanence again. And this is the epitome of a trap being a hand trap. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end phase of the turn. Then if this card was set before activation and it was on the field at resolution, for the remainder of this turn, all other spell traps in this column are also negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this from the hand. So again, it's a nice turn 0 hand trap. And again, you can budget this out. You guys do not need to be playing $3, $20 to $40 cards in your deck. Breakthrough skill does pretty much the same thing and can be activated again from the discard pile, so you get 2 uses there. For those of you who've been watching Speed Duel, I use Lost Wind in my side deck a lot. Guess what? Lost Wind can be used in here just as easily as it is in Speed Duel. So again, there's a couple different ways that you can budget this one down as well. And I'm glad to say that, because honestly, that is a price tag right there. And 3 Solemn Strikes. And again, I like this one. I try to play this one as often as I can. When a monster or monsters would be special summoned or a monster effect activated, pay 1,500. Negate the summon or the activation of the effect, and if you do, destroy the card. And again, this in and of itself, if you guys were lucky enough, if you guys had the budget back when Dual Devastator was a thing and you bought 3 copies like I did, or if you had a little less budget and you bought 3 copies of the Machina structure deck, this was a great way to pick up strikes. So again, it's pretty budget. It's a fairly budget complement. And again, I feel like everybody should have these by now. But that's just me, because I never get rid of cards, it seems. Going over to the extra deck, let's breeze through this real quick. So you do have Apollo, so you need 2+ monsters, different names, not counting tokens. You can only control 1 of these at a time. The original attack of this is 800 times number of link materials used. For its link summon once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, make this lose exactly 800, and if you do, negate the activation. So again, this will help us manage our opponent's effects. It does get whittled down pretty quick, but again, you should have enough explosive raw summoning power with this deck that you should be able to accompany this with something else that's fairly strong and competitive to keep her alive. Got 2 copies of Celtipus. This is 2 Appliancer monsters, and again, thanks to Formud Skipper being able to change his name, he counts as well. This linked card cannot be targeted by opponent card effects or their monster attacks. During damage calculation, if an Appliancer linked monster you control co-linked to this card battles an opponent's monster, your battling monster gains attack equal to the number of monsters co-linked to this card times 1,000. Real quick, co-link means that they are both pointing at each other. So like Laundry Dragon and Celtipus are right now. That would be a co-link. This would just be a regular linked. Just to give you guys, in case that just doesn't come up enough in your day-to-day gaming, that's what that means. During that damage calculation only. And then once per turn, and if Appliancer linked monster or monsters you control that is not co-linked to this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, then you could draw a card. So even if you do have 2 Laundry Dragons, and again, the one off to the bottom left won't be linked or won't be co-linked, you will still be able to get a card back from that, making that exchange still pretty worthwhile. We do have the Laundry Dragon at 1,500. This is, I think, one of the stronger ones when it comes down to it. Single Appliancer monster to make, cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this. Once per turn after damage calculation, if this co-linked card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. I'm pretty sure you guys can out-Dragoon this way. And again, that's just a silly thing to be able to say. Once per turn after damage calculation, if this is not co-linked and battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, inflict damage to the opponent equal to its original attack. And again, that's pretty hilarious too. And again, we maximize this to 3. We do run the 1 Vacuolifant as a tech. This one goes links to the upper right. Again, single Appliancer, cannot be used as link material the turn is link summoned. Again, guys, with the test, that is not considered a link summon. It's a special summon from the graveyard. So if you do play these back, you can use them that turn. That is important. The effect here, you can send one... sorry. This card can attack directly when it is not co-linked. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then target a monster... 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this card is co-linked, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's monster zone, destroy it. You can only use 1 Vacuolifant effect per turn and only once that turn. So, again, kind of iffy. It's very situational. That's why I cut it down to 1. We do have Boral Sword, and again, I think you guys know what he does, so you know he's here just to punch things over. Let's talk about the Codebreaker viruses. Let's talk about them in the Link Climb. So let's talk about the Swordsman first. So this is 2 effect monsters. Again, we should be using 0 day, so it's really just using 1. When this card is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon 1 Codebreaker 0 day from hand deck or discard to any zone a link monster points to, so it doesn't even have to be himself. So again, if we have Celtipus up top, Celtipus will also be pointing over here, which means we can also put our Codebreaker 0 day right next to it. And this is what I'm saying, you're never really getting rid of the Codebreaker 0 day, so that you still have that effect of the Virus Swordsman. If this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed while in your possession or by an opponent's card effect and sent there this turn, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. Again, that's not terrible. It gets better when we link climb those 2 back into the Virus Berserker. This is 2+ monsters, including 1 Codebreaker. When this card is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon up to 2 Codebreakers from your hand and or graveyard to any zones a link monsters point to. During the main phase, you can destroy spell traps your opponent control up to the number of linked Codebreaker monsters on the field. And this is what I'm saying about linked versus co-linked. So as long as he's pointing to them or they're pointing at each other, that's all good. And it does allow some additional field disruption. Really, it's just here for a generic link climb, and it does it very well. And again, you get to play back both of them. IP Masquerade because we want to link during our opponent's turn, really mess with them. And again, whatever we make using this card cannot be destroyed by the opponent's card effects. That's super important. Griffin, one I haven't used of the Nightmares, so let's go over that. 2+ monsters with different names. If this is link summoned, you can discard a card, then target a spell trap in your graveyard, set it to your field, but it cannot be activated this turn. Then if this was co-linked, when this is activated, you could draw a card. You can only use this effect once per turn. Special summon monsters on the field cannot activate their effects unless they are linked. It is really that last portion that we're worried about. However, we can get back some seriously good cards like Monster Reborn. But we're here to just kind of lock out monster effects unless they're being linked. So again, Griffin is kind of great today. Phoenix will let you discard, destroy a spell trap your opponent controls. Unicorn will let you seal one to the deck. And Link Karibo. Again, we have a plethora. Literally, I think it was 12 level 1s in this deck. And you just need a level 1 to play this. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you contribute this card. Change that opponent's monster's attack to 0 until the end of this turn. If this is in the graveyard as a quick effect, you contribute 1 level 1. Special summon this to the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. So again, he can come back and just keep doing it. So it's, again, a nice complementary, very budget card. I think my copy is actually out of a structure deck. I'm not using my gold name for today. I don't know why. I just didn't dig it out, guys. But again, it helps you budget down a little bit and protect your appliancers. So guys, let me know how I did. I think this is good. I think that I've shown that we have grown. And I can't wait to show you guys what we could do within the next year. So, with all that said, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys have a great day. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.